Hi everyone, Blake here for the Department of Clinical Quality Informatics, and in this short video I'm going to briefly discuss the HIE or Health Information Exchange that we have at Palmetto Health. So this is going to be broken up into three parts, and I'm going to cover some overview and background information at first. Then we'll actually get into the HIE and look at how you navigate and what information is available within that data repository. And then thirdly, we'll go over just some additional details about the construct of how information gets put into that repository. So I've got a document up right now that sort of gives us some overview information. And really the HIE is simply a way for both our inpatient epicenter and outpatient PowerWorks EMRs to communicate and supply certain field-based information into a data repository that can be accessed when you are logged into either system. Some key points to keep in mind is that this is an opt-out model for our patients, which means that based on the way the consents have been written, that patients will need to sign an additional consent to opt out of the HIE, but patients will by default get their information placed into the HIE. There will be no representation of any type of psychiatric visit within the HIE. That information is protected and does not connect into the HIE. As far as when to expect data that has accrued on a patient after an inpatient stay dating after October 2nd of 2012 will deposit into the HIE, and for outpatient, the information collected after March 18th of 2013 will be available in the HIE as well. Getting to the HIE, is a little different in Epicenter versus PowerWorks, but you can reference that in the training documentation. So once you get to the HIE in either inpatient or outpatient setting, you'll see first that there is a global disclaimer that simply states from a kind of a legal standpoint the use of this information. And this is just acknowledged by a user simply by clicking anywhere on that text, and that will hide the disclaimer. You can also bring it back by clicking on that disclaimer again. Just some general navigation tips on the HIE. Demographic information will also be available across the top of the display. And then you have a global search filter that is available in the upper left-hand corner. And this search is useful for searching for a particular medication, particular lab result, things of that nature. And it does search all components of the HIE. We also have a navigation band on the left-hand side that you can use to quickly move between components in the HIE. You'll also notice there's a pin icon that you can click, which will pin that to display so that it won't automatically hide once you move off of it. There's also a tools band as well, and that's useful for doing some printing and those types of things to compile all the information that's visible on the display. Within each of the bands, you'll notice that we can click on the heading of each column, and that will sort either alphabetically or numerically depending on the type of data that is within each of those. So you can do that to sort of quickly sort the information and perhaps find what you're looking for more quickly. You'll also see that some of the bands have a detail view, which if you click simply expands and displays more information such as comments for this particular band and procedure history. The print, if you click on the print icon, will generate a print job of just the information within that band. It does not print the entirety of the HIE view, but just that band that you are currently clicking print for. And then finally the plus and minus, those are simply there to allow you to collapse or expand a particular listing. Okay. A little bit different over on some of the structured data is the ability to click on the hyperlink text and actually generate a graph of that information. So that can be helpful as well when viewing some of the more structured data. And finally, the third part of this video is going to quickly review the criteria for what drives the information to getting into the HIE. So I've got in front of us a document here that quickly reviews these components and the criteria for that information getting in. For problems, that's going to be all our active and resolved problems that we have in PowerChart or in PowerWorks. Diagnoses will be the final coded billing diagnosis that we have from STAR. Meds will be both those that have the status of ordered and completed meds and prescriptions. Allergies will be those that are active and resolved. Immunizations will be a historical perspective of its entirety. Procedures will also include all procedures. Lab results will be all non-sensitive lab results up to the last 6. Micro and pathology will have all results displayed, looking back historically. Vital signs will include up to the last 60 combined of height, weight, body surface area, BMI, etc. Radiology will include all final sign documents. You will not be able to view images in the HIE. That's just a bandwidth limitation, and those will still need to be viewed in impacts. History and physicals, discharge summaries, and other provider reports or documents. Those all final and signed documents will be available via the HIE. And then finally, a listing of visits will be available that are non-sensitive. Thanks for taking a few minutes to review this video on the Palmetto Health HIE.